Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Here's My Story channel. I'm Devin. The weirdest thing happened to me last month. My twin sister Briana barged into my room and said, "You might fool everyone, but you can't fool me. You're not my twin sister. Who are you? Why are you acting like my sister?" I stared at her, trying to see if she was joking. She looked dead serious. I said, "Briana, are you okay? We're identical twins. We look exactly the same. Even Dad sometimes can't tell us apart. We're twins whether you like it or not." Briana didn't seem to hear me. She said, "Look at you, still lying. But you can't fool me anymore. You're not my sister and I'm going to prove it. Everyone will know you're an imposter," and left. I was dumbfounded. Why would Briana do something like that? No matter how much I thought about it, I couldn't come up with an explanation. It was true that we hadn't been on good terms for a few weeks. We had fought over something silly. When that happens, we usually stay away from each other. We even eat dinner at different times. Like all other siblings, there are times when we don't talk to each other, but this time it had gone on for too long. Still, it didn't make any sense for her to come and tell me, "You're not my twin and I'm going to prove it." To be honest, Briana is not only my twin sister, she's also my best friend. It actually makes sense because since we were identical twins, both our faces and our personalities are exactly alike. For me, this is nothing short of a miracle, and I always think I'm really lucky. But now my sister, who is always telling me how much she loved me, was acting as if I was her worst enemy. My mom was also aware that we weren't getting along. There's a burger place that we always go to. She took us there. She said, "Girls, I think this has gone too far. It's time to end whatever this is," trying to get us to make up. But Briana wasn't interested. The whole dinner, she didn't say a word and just stared at me. It really freaked me out. When I woke up the next morning, I saw 2 pieces of paper on the floor. Someone must have slid them under the door while I was sleeping. I couldn't believe my eyes when I read what was written on them. One said, "Who are you?" And the other, "Where is the real Devin?" I ran to my mom and showed her the notes. Naturally, she didn't get it. "What are these?" she asked. I said, "Briana has been telling me weird things like, 'You're not my sister. Why are you acting like you are?' And she slid these under my door last night. Mom, she's scaring me." My mom laughed. She said, "Oh, Devin, all Briana wants to do is scare you. You girls are exactly the same, but your sister has always been a step ahead when it comes to creativity. See, she still knows how to be creative even in a fight." I knew Briana was doing all this to scare me. I was really annoyed because she had actually succeeded. That night, Dad called both of us. "Your mom told me you two are having some issues. We're putting an end to this. I signed both of you up for summer camp. You will remember how much you like each other after living together in a tent for 2 weeks," he said. Both Briana and I protested, but Dad wouldn't listen. "This is not your decision. Your mom and I already made the call. We're going there first thing in the morning. Pack your bags," he said. Before I continue with my story, I just want to make a quick reminder. If you're enjoying this video, please click the like button now and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. This way you'll be notified when new videos drop. Thanks so much. Now, back to the story. The following day, we drove 50 miles to get to the camp, which was in a national park. To be honest, this was the perfect summer camp for high schoolers like us. Normally, we would have both jumped at the offer, but this was not a good time because we literally hated each other. They showed us to our tent. Briana dropped off her bag and started going out. "Where are you going?" I asked. "I'm going to look for a place to stay. Do you think I'm that stupid? I'll never stay in the same tent as you," she said. "Briana, please cut this. You're not my twin nonsense. You're scaring me," I said. She looked at me like she was surprised. "I'm the one who needs to be scared. I'm with an imposter who's saying she's my twin sister. If I tell my parents, they'll think I'm crazy. That's why I need proof, and I'm going to get it." I couldn't believe my ears. She still wouldn't drop this stupid game. I was furious. "Find yourself a place to stay then. I don't want to see you again until this thing's over," I screamed. She left without a word. I was so mad I started crying, and I couldn't help but wonder, why is she doing this to me? Suddenly, I had an idea. I could find out exactly what Briana was thinking and why she was acting like this from her journal. We both started keeping journals in elementary school. After a while, I gave up, but Briana wrote in hers every day. Sometimes she would bring her journal to my room, flip to a random page, and start reading. Then we would talk about that day. I knew that she was writing down every single detail of her day. I was so anxious as I opened Briana's bag. I was right. She had brought her journal with her. I was sweating bullets. She could come in any second. I opened it and started reading. I was once again convinced that that thing is not Devin. It's imitating Devin. It looks like her, acts like her, but it can't fool me because I know my sister better than it does. It's trying to laugh like Devin, but it can't. Devin squints as she laughs. That thing can't do it. Every time it laughs, I can tell that it's not Devin. Oh my God, what was she saying? She was seriously thinking I wasn't her real twin sister. She was calling me that thing. My ear started ringing. I felt so weak that I almost collapsed. At that moment, Briana walked in. She saw me holding her journal. She leapt and grabbed it from my hand. It's all here. You can't even guess what's going to happen to you once I prove you're not Devin. You think you can fool me, but you're wrong. Where's Devin? Give me my sister back now! I was speechless. I managed to mumble something like, Briana, I love you more than anything in the world, and ran out. I had no idea what made Briana believe in something so crazy, but I was sure I wouldn't be able to convince her otherwise. I had to tell my parents about all of this right away. When I called them up and started telling them, they first thought Briana had been teasing me. They even laughed. But when I started crying my heart out as I was telling the things I'd read in her journal, they realized this was serious. Nothing I'd told them made any sense, but they started getting worried. They drove to the camp. Dad said, Devin, you wait here. We'll go for a walk with Briana. When they returned, they looked so upset. Apparently, Briana had told them, too, that I wasn't the real Devin. Briana kept saying, I knew you wouldn't believe me, but you will both apologize to me when you figure out this thing is not Devin. We got in the car. Everyone was quiet the whole ride home. The next morning, my parents took Briana to a psychiatrist. I was so anxious as I waited for them to come back. We figured that Briana must have had some kind of a mental disorder, but what was it? Why did she think I wasn't the real Devin? I was so curious to understand what was going on inside my sister's head. When they returned, both my parents looked really sad. My mom had been crying nonstop on the way back, and she could barely talk. After a while, my dad came to my room and told me what the doctor had said. Now I'm going to tell you what my dad told me and everything I found out about this on the internet. You might not believe what I'm about to tell you, but unfortunately, all of it is 100% true. According to the doctor, Briana has a rare psychiatric disorder. It's known as the imposter syndrome. For those of you who want to look it up, the medical term for it is Capgras delusion. People who have this disorder believe that a loved one has been kidnapped and replaced by an identical imposter who's impersonating them. That's right. This is why Briana thought I wasn't her twin sister. She believed somebody had kidnapped and replaced me with a lookalike. According to her, I'm not the real Devin. The real Devin is being held hostage in some unknown location. The person who's here is an imposter who looks just like her. I realize that all of this is hard to believe. It sounds really out there, but it is a real medical condition. You might be thinking, who do these people think their loved one is abducted by? The most common response is aliens. The cause of this syndrome is still unknown, but for whatever reason, it's more common in women. I read about a bunch of cases online. All of them were about female patients. For instance, a woman believed that her husband had been kidnapped and replaced by an imposter. In another case, a woman was convinced that it was her dog that had been abducted and replaced. Of course, I feel awful for Briana. There's something about this that makes me even more sad. People with this disorder believe it is the person they love the most that has been kidnapped. According to one theory, they are so afraid of losing that person that the brain reacts in this way. This means that my poor sister might have developed this disorder because she loves me too much. Is this a treatable condition? Unfortunately, no. Talk therapy works to some extent, but in order to see any results, Briana has to be in therapy for years. I'm still very hopeful. I'll do everything I can for Briana to recover from this, and one day I'll make her believe that I'm the real Devin.